a message today from one of the employees out there telling me to go FOIA request a bunch of stuff.
What's going on there?
They can't reconcile their bank accounts. They're like 3 years behind. And no auditor will touch the current because they got to be up to date with the others.
That's legal stuff.
Yeah, they can't get along. Only one person's working every single day. All the other people say, well, we're working, but we're working from home.
Probably, we got the order. Probably watch what that's a safety hazard.
I think he's got something.
I have a very limited run.
One of those temporary canopies.
Oh, no, this.
Thank you, sir.
Do you want to make some copies
Doesn't
here?
run.
I can.
He says it runs.
Did you say deer?
I'll get you
No,
one
I
as soon
have
as we-
one.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Is that a gimbal? Is that
I don't know what you call it, but
does it stabilize and stuff like that?
no, I have to do all. That's why I got the pole for it. It helps a lot.
I did bring my son here.
No, it's.
Oh, I just think I did it. I think I left
This
it.
one is, okay, they got this one, this one's over here. Oh, okay. Not around the corner, so I think that's this one right here.
I think we should balance like this.
But there is no permit, anything pulled on that.
Here's contact if you.
But they want to try to sell this, and they don't have options, they can't sell it. If you ever pull a building permit, you can't sell the dumpster.
I like this.
You're keep doing
I
it.
didn't say, oh, is that the truck?
It's all Roger.
Go ahead.
Already wanted to go.
Roger's interest will be old.
Okay. That's fantastic.
When he makes the delivery of the dress.
He's logging on the fourth floor right now. Yeah, but they
Sounds
still.
good.
Scott, I'm gonna be ready.
No, they got pretty much to get off at the fourth floor and come in and right at the corner, you face that. Yes, and everything else. Well, they don't have every file, but they got a lot. Yeah. Yeah, she has a file there for you. She's got a file sitting there. I guess. You find out anything else? I did go down to the post office, that's 559, right? I do. So.
9:59.
Yeah,
Yes.
959. No permits from every tour. It's on record. I forgot my bag. Right, it's sitting right there.
Okay, wow, you've done a lot of research. Thank you. You will need an agenda?
Yes, please.
No, it's not a new one.
Thank you.
I have to look everything up on my phone.
We have to rub
We have to read
About separate books.
They don't print phone books anymore, do they?
That's not new for me.
Oh, actually, they do. They do print them. Nobody uses them. Oh, look at you. I love them. Yeah, I do.
We got the sunrise and the sunset, what is that one?
That is
Pretty.
by Kim. You picked that, huh, for tonight? Yeah. How beautiful.
Nice sunset. Not Sanford Lake, but a Michigan Lake.
But coming soon.
They're very comfortable.
I can see it's really.
Very.
No, don't.
I'll bring it over here.
Don't clear my legs.
Oh, wow.
She said.
Hey, firefighter, pretty close.
Yeah, right.
That's true, that's more than a problem.
Right from the start.
A new boat fits, you know.
There's a gap there.
Yes.
I missed the last month.
Just a couple more minutes, folks.
Is that all like the station? No?
No,
It's just,
you see it?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, the two catch things.
I misplaced things.
Bring
that up.
No, what happened? I'm gonna ask the chief.
No, I did not know.
Very nice. Very awesome.
I did not know. I didn't pay attention. I
Yes.
was trying to sign out and read.
Okay.
Oh, that's my copy.
Recording in progress.
All right, folks, we'll call this meeting to order. As you heard, this meeting is being recorded. I'll get the recording posted out on the website, hopefully within 48 to 72 hours. If you don't care to be recorded, then I'd ask you to leave. Otherwise, by being here, you've given us your permission. Yep.
Oh.
Bye-bye. I've called this meeting to order. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Bow your heads for a moment. We'll have an invocation. Heavenly Father, we gather tonight. We pray for your grace upon us. We pray for wisdom, and we pray for just and righteous decisions as we go about the township business. We ask now that you please watch over us, guide us, and lead us to good deliberations. Amen. I've had several interactions with my fellow trustees over my next question. We're now going to go over our OMA compliance. To the best of my knowledge, we have posted things correctly, and we'll be making a little change in notations to that. But this is really just to ask folks if any of my fellow trustees are aware if there's any issues with our noticing or compliance.
No, and thank you for indulging my questions and
Oh,
finding a path forward.
No, thank you for asking the questions, really.
Yes.
So I believe we, to the best of our understanding and abilities, we're in a good place and a good situation there. I would like to welcome everybody to our October edition of the Edenville Township Board meeting. We have a fairly full agenda, but I hope we can get through it reasonably quickly. We have a couple of things coming up. First off, I would just comment quickly that our waterway maintenance work has been completed. We actually did a little bit more aggressive in the rotary mowing or mechanical remediation, and that has led to a reduction in our use of chemicals. So that's way under budget. So we ended up allocating, if you may recall from our public hearing where we went over the special assessment, we had allocated up to $120,000 this year for maintenance work. I believe all the bills have come in and been processed, and as I recall, we're somewhere between 102 and 103,000. So I
Yay.
thank everybody for all the help in getting us there. Another piece of good news is I understand that Midland County Commissioners have pledged support to Jerome Township for the waterway maintenance. And I have reached out on behalf of the township with support from the board here to ask the commissioners to consider helping us with our expanded work. And we hope to hear from them shortly on that. But anyhow, if you have an opportunity to call and register your thoughts or thanks, would certainly appreciate that. I do have to give a shout out. Jeanette Snyder was more than receptive and helpful in putting this request together. So our thanks go back to the county for their help, and we're just assuming positive outcomes there. Madam Clerk, do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Woo! All right. Now we're going to public comment. I would say folks have a couple, 3 minutes to make comment. Anyone wish to make a public comment? Is there
I
any
do.
public comment?
I watched a video from the last meeting, and I see on this agenda, there's no public notice of the couple-minute restrictions. And at the last meeting, there was no public announcement of restrictions on time limit. I seen Kathy pull out her phone, put a 3-minute timer, you cut several people off at 3 minutes, but there was no notice to anybody that they only had 3 minutes. So I would like to see that notice. It's easy to put it on the agenda right by public comment, limit to 3 minutes, whatever you're gonna do. And that's my public comment. Thank you.
Thank you for the input. Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Any other public comment? Public comment is closed at 6:35. I will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda as distributed.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right.
We had discussed about adding the unfounded or.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We do. We have one,
Just to circle back to it and.
we have a piece of old business.
Right.
And we'll plug that in.
After 20.A, it looks like maybe,
Yes, ma'am.
20.B,
Yes.
thank you.
What is the old business?
We just want to kind of go over and close the loop that there has been questions raised by the planning commission that they were looking for some guidance from us on how to handle unfounded complaints. We talked about it at the last meeting. We basically settled it, but I thought we've had a couple of questions. We'll just go ahead and put that one to bed. So I apologize, Crystal, I should have had that, but thank you for keeping me honest. Any other changes, additions, corrections? Hearing none.
Well, amend my motion to the change.
Oh, yeah, we'll accept the change, yes. I was gonna say, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Yeah, good, we just keep everything all neat and tight. Those in favor of approving the amended agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Woo-hoo, we have an approved agenda by affirmation. Minutes were distributed. I did get feedback from folks. I believe they were all incorporated in the packet that went out. I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes. Crystal, thank you.
Second.
Jim, thank you. Any further discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have a approved minutes, thank you. For folks' interest, we will be posting the approved amended minutes on the website for last month's meeting, and that will go out probably about the same time we put out this recording on that. Moving along, item 10, treasurer's report. Kathy, I think you've got a few things to share with
I
us.
do indeed. If you'd like to follow along with the treasurer's report in the packet, we'll go through a couple of
Page 12.
items, thank you. We'll start with the very first general fund checking, just to let you know the disbursements there were for bills, invoices, payroll. Second line, township savings. Those receipts for September were a couple of Z Club requests, but then also the MTPP grant. Is that-
Parkland grant, yeah.
Okay, and that amount was $2,250. Ongoing there, below that is business checking, and that amount of disbursements that for September were for the payroll withholding taxes. And then we come to tax fund below that. You can see the ending balance there of $834,000 for the month of September. Since that time, there were 2 disbursement checks sent. So when they hit our bank, we'll have about $2,600 in there. It's coming and it's going. Below that is the cemetery fund. I just wanted to touch that. Notice the ending balance for September is $9,400. That disbursement there for September, $1,000 is mowing. And there's a reason why I point that out to you, and we'll get to that later. All right, and then fire fund operating, checking, work supplies, things of that nature. Then on down to, let's go to Swanton Fund, checking there. I'm going to number these rows.
Yep.
It would be easier. You can see that the disbursements there or payments were for mowing, consumers, and charter for this month. And of course, the lake weed special assessment there is, we all know that. Solid waste is another one I would like to point out today. You can see the September disbursements of $16,795. And that's the normal monthly cost to Republic. And the ending balance for the end of September is $13,420, and we can see that we are running behind now as we go forward. Excuse me, Kim, does the $16,795, does that include the Midland County? It does not.
That's just the trash pickup and the recycling cost.
Okay, so the Midland dump fees are in addition to,
Right, and we should have another invoice for that probably this month,
okay,
roughly over $6,000.
okay, all right. And then I'll just touch on the total then, in the total bank accounts line there, ending balance is $1.4 million. And just a reminder there, tax is about half of that. So, and that has almost all been dispersed, so. And then on down to investment accounts. Again, I'm going to touch on just the MI class waste fund there. That's our investment for solid waste. And you can see that ending balance is at $10,694. So to cover to cover October's bill, we'll be moving some of that out into our solid waste to cover October's bill, which you have reviewed, I think, before the meeting here tonight. We will keep a small balance in there, because coming up in December, we know that taxes will be coming in and collection for solid waste will be on the winter tax. Then a total for the investments, the ending balance for that is over 1.1 million. Grand total for those banks and investment accounts is over 2.5 million. Then on down to Swanton Trust Fund. I apologize, I did not get that statement in time to include those balances. I'll go over them right here. I believe you have a beginning balance of 433,000. There was a change in market value of 7,700, excuse me. So a change of market value came into our account of $7,700. Disbursements $523. September interest and dividends were $637 for an ending balance of 441. So that's that. All right. And then last but not least is the tax collection update. And again, down there, I included the amount in the total to collect summer 2025 column there, $1.3 million. That's after adjustments have been made this season. And so you can go across there to the far right column, remaining tax to be collected, $117,000. That's pretty amazing that we were able to collect that.
The summer tax account,
Pardon me?
summer tax you're talking about.
Summer taxes.
Okay.
That's the remaining balance to collect. That's 9% left to remain, to collect. That's out of 1,962 parcels. Now, I did a new report to garner that number, and that was the taxable value report out of tax model. It was fun. So you can see we have about 385 parcels remaining to collect taxes on.
And that's a little lower than normal, isn't it? As far as unpaid taxes? We did better than
It seems to
typical.
me, but I've never been through a summer season yet. This is my first. Yeah. Mhm.
Any question for the treasurer's report?
Just in the tax fund, Kathy, you said something about there being like 26,000 left there, but
2,600.
After all the other
See,
disbursements?
I have two disbursement checks.
so some aren't listed here then.
Correct. I just wanted to point out that
Okay,
there was quite a bit collected there, and our ending balance is over 800,000 there. 834,000 that shows on our report today,
okay,
but,
but in actuality,
right,
okay.
two
Thank you.
disbursements have gone out, and we'll soon have a balance of about 2,600.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report,
So moved.
second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, excellent. Duly accepted. State revenue sharing.
Yes, I went to the two-day treasurer's retreat by MTA, October 1st and 2nd. 2nd and 3rd, I can't remember the dates, but anyway, I have a report on Michigan state revenue sharing. And they're always very good at those retreats and reporting what's happening in the legislature and coming and going on that. But in this case, we have a little bit of a change, a reduction in our constitutional revenue sharing. And here's what they have done. The state budget was finalized in this session ending on Friday, October 3rd. There are two parts to revenue sharing that Edenville Township has been receiving. They are called statutory and constitutional. The budget retained the statutory revenue sharing to be funded this year for all townships. at the same rate as last year, FY 2025. And that amount annually is $2,861. So that remains the same as last year. And then the constitutional revenue sharing is reduced by approximately 6.3% for the new state fiscal year. This is a reduction for Edenville Township of about $12,464 for the year. This reduction comes as a part of the budget road funding deal adopted on October 3rd that will remove the state sales tax effective January 1, 2026 from the sale of fuel at the pump, which will negatively impact the constitutional revenue sharing, so. For those two totals, I'll give you those real quick here. FY 25, that total was $268,861, and for next year, FY 26, that total will be $256,397. And if you're a quick mathematician, you'll figure that out. I know.
Thank you. Any other questions about that? Okay. So let's move on to our cemetery report. Understand it's been kind of busy.
Yes. Yes, I'll pull that up here. There we go. All right. So, it's been an interesting couple months. As we take on what we can take on in terms of what needs to be done. And this, of course, was a very new area for me. And for Kim, and thank goodness we're working together on this and figuring it out. As far as the report goes, there were 3 burials within the last 2 months. 4 foundations put in for headstones. We had the need for some fill dirt and grass seed on some recent burials. And every chance we get, we're uncovering markers. Shovel, metal detectors, tape measures, long tape measures. And that's forever need. And then a couple other notes. Consumers have marked some trees along the new cemetery, right along the road, parallel to the road under the power lines, with some blue spray paint. And this, according to their website, indicates trim. Trim, as near as I can tell.
Not an X, no.
Not an X. I was hoping for an X. So anything that they do trim, according to their website, or cut off, they let it drop, and it's our responsibility for removing it.
Not true.
Pardon me?
If it's a mowed area, they will remove the brush. If it's a wooded area, they leave it.
Oh, good point, yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's all moved.
They will take it.
Thank you very much.
Actually, if
That's
it's
right.
considered a hazard tree, you can ask them, they will remove the whole tree. Even though it's only a dot versus an X,
Okay,
but if it's considered a hazard tree,
yes,
meaning potential to fall,
right.
they will remove the whole thing. I had one removed from my property that way.
Okay.
They removed a ash tree. Sorry to interject, I apologize.
Oh, good information. Thank you, Charlie. Very good. And then internal office work. We've been going through what we can in terms of the files, trying to make sense of the payments received, trying to balance that out with what we owe our contractor. He hasn't been paid for 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to make heads or tails of all that. It's challenging. He's been a great help, our open and closer for burials, Von Jenkins. And so he's agreed to continue in that role if we so decide.
I think one of the things
Yes,
you guys have worked on and asked me to include here is a job description for a sexton,
Yes, yes,
and we've included that in there. I think what we've discovered, first of all, is that what we thought was a sexton isn't a sexton.
right.
And so I apologize personally, because I thought Vaughn was our sexton. I called him that, and he told me very politely that, no, he wasn't the sexton, that I called him the grave digger. I'm sure there's a more appropriate term, and I apologize. Maybe over a closure.
Before we leave the cemetery report, we
Yes.
talked, it come up several months ago, and someone talked about the poles are rusting in the cemetery. They are. The
You
white
mean the
poles, the
gates?
white poles are rusting.
The gate,
Yeah, the gates, yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
talked about maybe getting a Boy Scout group or something. Have you had any contact with any of them?
we haven't had time.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm just
in
asking.
fact,
we have-
That leads into the sexton kind of thing.
Yeah.
That reason.
We did query Vaughn.
Or a volunteer's got white paint and we can have, got a piece of cardboard, we'll paint it, you know.
We did talk to Vaughn about the necessity of gates, and he said, to his knowledge, no. You did, and he said usually what happens is people put up the gates and then they forget they need to have somebody to open it
No, I'm
and
just talking about
close
the
it.
ones that are rusting and they're.
Yeah,
We need it,
yeah.
we do it, we need to paint them though.
Yeah, but if we're gonna keep them up, and,
Yeah.
but yes, that's a,
It goes on with a long list of maintenance that we're discovering is needful, and that takes time. And also considering what do we do, we've had a cemetery manager before, but I don't know if we've ever had a sexton in Eagle Township. However, in the job description that we put together, it describes the role of a sexton, and that person would be responsible for overall management, maintenance, and operation of the cemetery grounds. This includes coordinating some burials, maintaining accurate records, overseeing groundskeeping, and ensuring compliance with local, state, and federal regulations. They would serve as a primary point of contact for families, funeral homes, and monument companies. And then went into some key responsibilities there. And I won't read them all for time's sake.
But if we're
But
good with
if-
this,
Have we looked at what the salary, what's the recommendation for salary type of thing?
Well,
I saw one of them, what is that?
I added that on there, but that would be
Some months
something
are
up for
much busier
discussion.
than, I think we have to do it a ratio for burial versus out, you know,
most,
because they're gonna be out there at different points. Might have 3 burials this month and 6 the next month, or 1 in the
Well,
following
but-
December.
the problem with that is that there's a lot more work than just the burials, and
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately, we have not had our, database, POTM is not complete. So there's a lot of entering that needs to be done with that. Our records have, I describe it as look like somebody dropped the file folder and needs to be reorganized and sorted through. We would have, if we didn't have the sexton do it, it would require us probably having an office assistant come in and do it. It's just more than we can deal with, as well as the data entry. So we're looking for someone that just basically would take ownership of the cemetery, not just the burial piece, but come and tell us when the roads, something needs to be done with the roads, and come and do the burials and be that point of contact. And when a family calls, it seems like it really picked up in May of this year. We had a lot of folks coming in asking where my plot is.
Mhm.
And that's, you know,
Time consuming,
Time
very time
consuming.
consuming, because
Yeah.
we're dealing with paper lists. They're not accurate because they were pulled from the software. Also, in going to the training for treasurers, I sat next to a gal who uses the same software, and she said she loves it. Once you get the data in, it's wonderful. A resident comes and asks, about, I can't find my lot, a map, just one-page map can be printed out and handed to the resident, and off they go. I'm kind of excited to see where that might go for us. The software, we may have to add a module or something to it that does mapping. Right now, all it does is make lists. And at this point, I have not been able to get out an alphabetized list, just numeric. And it's pretty powerful software, I think, so far, that's what I know. But like Kim was saying, to that point, there's a lot to this. There's a lot of contact. In fact, I was walking in tonight and I got a call from a family member. So the steps that it takes and the time that it takes it's crucial for the family. It's really important to give them quality help in going through this process. And so there's a lot to it. Taking calls, going to the cemetery, also finding markers where their markers aren't evident, also preparing now for winter. Because if we found that if there's, an issue finding a burial lot during the winter, that can be very challenging. If we do bring the markers up in general areas, I'm hopeful that we can find just about every lot in the winter. At least in the new cemetery section, is what I'm hopeful for.
So I'm hoping that we can all kind of say, yep, let's go ahead and get this posted. See what we get as far as candidates.
I just had a question and a statement versus,
Yes.
what do other townships pay theirs? Do we know, have we done any of that? I
And
don't,
I didn't get a chance to really look at that, but in talking with several folks, past preservations, Justin Frost, he came and did some work for us. He did some work in the cemeteries in the past for us.
That's great.
He's been a sexton for Jerome Township. And I think he was around 400, but he was raising everything up. He was doing all of the particulars and filing, and he had to raise the bar there, and so he was starting from scratch.
And once the software is in place, it'll be a great help for everybody.
Yes, and reduce time for everyone, absolutely, if it works,
You said you're raising the markers physically?
Oh, yes,
Because I know there are a lot of them sunk.
oh, yes.
Oh, yes, in fact,
Yeah.
they disappear within 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
When you find them, the best thing we could do is get some weed killer to kill grass around there, so the marker stays
Yeah.
identified.
But it's also dirt that fills in, so it's just, it's a maintenance, it's a maintenance task.
Oh, yeah,
Ongoing.
That we could get volunteers, come out with your brooms, come out with your, because they won't be down that far.
Yeah.
If we do it more regularly,
Okay.
and particularly just in that new cemetery in that section where the dry loop is. Not in the extension area, but they are marked, they are all marked over there.
I'm glad to see this be one job. We had been previously paying 2 people, a manager and a sexton and there was like 2 or 3 people on the payroll, and that just,
Well, he wasn't sexting, he was way bigger.
okay, right, because I didn't know what to say, so I just said another person, because I didn't want to say that term, but
Jim, thanks for
it's a
joining
lot
me in
to pay that much money, and so I hope we can find a good person to do this job and pay one person and not have.
It's not easy.
Money, like, so thank you for that.
So my adding the 400, that was,
We can start there.
It's a good start, we can
Yeah,
always
we can
adjust
talk
accordingly
about it.
as needed,
Yeah.
if needed.
yeah, and evaluated that we're coming at the end of the year.
Great, will this be posted on our website soon?
So my thoughts were, guys, that we get kind of agreement, looks like we've got it here. We'll post it,
See what happens.
interview some candidates.
Yeah.
Try to get things and maybe come back with a recommendation in the November meeting, either with, here's people we've talked to, or, hey, we're gonna have to go a different way. That's good.
Sounds good, sounds good.
Fine.
I wanna thank you guys for pulling that together.
And a couple other real quick things on the cemetery. We do want to stress, folks, our cemeteries are from sunrise to sunset,
They're
so
open,
please,
yeah.
that's when the cemetery is open. Also, we are wanting to clean up the cemeteries, in preparation for winter. What we ask is that if you have old flowers, silk flowers, any kind of, anything that looks a little worn, dead, please have those removed from your grave sites. We will be coming through first part of November, cleaning things up. Also is if we do go forward with this, effort to find as many markers as possible, the metal at the cemetery around headstones, metal stands, metal lights, anything metal tends to cause interference with the metal detector and makes it a little more difficult. So we're asking too, that you please remove these things through the winter, and we will hopefully, we'll let you know about bringing them back next spring. Also for having holiday decorations put on the cemetery, we want to hope to have it ready for those at Thanksgiving time. So that will be ready. So hopefully we'll have it kind of cleaned up and ready for the holidays. Thank you.
Will that be posted on the website?
That is actually already posted on our website.
We need a vote to post.
Yeah.
When I also posted the ordinance, so the cemetery ordinance is now posted on the website as well,
Is
Can
that
I
on
have
the,
a,
is that on the homepage, front page? or-
on the cemetery page.
Oh, okay.
can I have a motion for the
Yeah.
job description?
So,
I'll second.
Did you move?
yes,
Second.
sorry.
I thought you did.
I will speak louder, I'm sorry.
Okay, any other discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Again, thank you guys very much. I think that's gonna help us out. We found it to be a bit of a sticky wicket if you don't have it done right, so thank you. Kim, I understand we've got a clerk's report,
Yes, you do.
and it looks like show and tell.
Show and tell time. Pictures say 1,000 words. So to my knowledge, we have no official correspondence for me to report on. I want to thank the trustees for their time and review of the bills for this period. And let's see if I can make this now work. So we had some late breaking, or we had an invoice that arrived after review, so I went ahead and entered that in. So see, we had almost $96,000 in invoices go out this month, so that 72 warrants, and that does include our payroll. September payroll tends to be larger because that's when we pay our firefighters. So, thank you. So, guess we need to, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills as presented. Have a second?
Second.
And since this is spending money, we'll need to do a roll call. Hauser, yes. Kay Peters,
Yes.
A. Peters,
Yes,
Sperling,
Yes.
Starkey,
Yes.
thank you.
we paid bills.
We paid
Thank you.
bills. All right. As promised, financial reports. So again, show and tell today. I have copies of this for those that here at the table for your markup pleasure. This is a report that I pulled from QuickBooks. It's required some putting it into Excel, but this is our consolidated based on kind of our GAA categories that were listed in our GAA this year. Right now, as expected, we have not collected much revenue. Our revenue collections are primarily between the second and third quarter. So by March of by March 31st, we'll see a lot of corrections there. As to expenses, trying to get a quick visual of where we're doing well, or maybe not so well, and where we're on target. We're approximately a quarter, 25% through the fiscal year. As seeing right now, we've got a couple of funds that are high in expenditures. However, We don't expect expenditures the rest of those years. For example, the lake special, Edenville Edenville waterways, yeah, about 80% of the budget has been spent, which is not unexpected. We also need to do a budget, change this to reflect what was done at the meeting in August. The other one is the water district. We paid our bond principal and interest. We'll have a second interest payment in March. So that's where that large number came from. We are moving close to having we have 42% of it, end of our budget expensed in cemetery at the end of September. However, we had another $1,000 bill come through that made up almost 50% of our budget in less than 6 months. While this is a nice busy chart, we can talk about lots of numbers. I always say a picture's worth 1,000 words. So there's your picture. As I said, as we move forward with the end of December, hopefully you'll start seeing those green bars fill up and those red bars will fill up as well as we spend our money. So as Kathy attended the treasurer's meeting in Frankenmuth from it that MTA put together, I went to the clerk's meeting. And there I learned about this website that is called MI Community Financials. And it is, and I'll happily, when we post these, I'll make sure that web address is on this. But this particular website collects information from all municipalities, townships, counties for the state of Michigan. The data comes from the F-65, which is our annual report that has been filed historically by our auditors every year. And what this does is it pretty much reports the spending, the revenues and expenditures for every township. This is what was on it for Edenville, and this was for the 2024 fiscal year, so that would have ended June 30th, 2024. And you can see basic information, taxable value, expenditures from the general fund, percent of, and so on. Long-term debt, that's our water bond. So this is a basic kind of a snapshot of where we are in the health of the township. The other nice thing about this particular report or this site, it does lift out nice graphs of revenue, where our revenues come from and our expenses. And I think, did I jump my revenues? There we go. There's my revenue. My slide got out of order. The revenues, as you can see, the bulk of our revenues come in from special assessments, which as expected, we would be receiving in our winter tax funds. And where does the money go? Well, pretty much the same place. A lot of it goes to our special assessments. And they do break out our debt service, which is part of when we collect the money for the water bond, it's considered special assessment. When we spend it, we're paying for our debt service. So that's what that number is. The other are things like sanitation or other CAP fire, things like that. But we've got a good breakout. So this is a really kind of neat website. I hope to monitor it going forward and continue to, bring information as it comes up on the site. So thank you. Now, moving on to other fun stuff. Any questions?
One quick question on the first form you handed out,
Yes,
the improvements, don't we have a budget for improvements?
we did not do a budget for improvement because I don't believe we plan to spend any money out of that, but
What type of improvements were they?
I'm sorry.
What type of improvements were they?
That's the 246.
That was an account that has been historically kept where we would just accumulate spare cash. It's kind of a rainy day fund, is the way it was explained to me.
And that's, so we do earn a little interest on it, but we really haven't budgeted it for it. Also, we didn't budget for private roads. However, we do know that will be some funds.
We can't budget for that.
Yeah.
That's a no.
What we're responsible for. Yes?
I just have a question. I'm just looking at the expense one.
Yeah,
You don't have to pull it back.
Okay.
I have it here, but there's two colors. I realize this isn't something you put together. This is something you pulled up there. And so it's just a question, maybe to
Okay.
go to the powers that be. There's two different colors for public works and two different colors for recreation, and I'm just wondering why they would be doubled that.
Oh,
To show-
the colors, are you talking about on
Like there's
that
two
one?
different, right, there's two different
Yeah,
expenditures
so
for
this
public
is-
works and then
so
two different for
The F
recreation.
65, this, I'm still learning it. The way it breaks things out, and sometimes you may get public service and public works, and it is just the way things have been coded in our budget, is the best I can say.
Okay.
Or let me rephrase it, how things have been coded in our general ledger.
We can point out our score.
Oh.
The F-65.
Oh, the one that we're, yeah, we'll not worry about that one.
Okay.
So, so that's pretty much, with our financials. So the next item I'd like to discuss is, a motion to adopt our, contract with Midland County to cover early voting coverage. And this is a contract with the county. They will take over the 9 days of early voting for us, so we do not have a station set up here. The cost of that is $5,000 for the first precinct, $2,500 for the second. We have one precinct. So, we have been asked, this contract will take us through December of 2027, so it will be enforced for the general or the elections, gubernatorial elections in 2026. So I'd like to make any motion to adopt the contract with Midland County to cover early voting coverage at a cost of $5,000.
I would second that motion.
So I just have a question.
Yes.
We did this last election cycle. What could you sum it up for those of us who don't do what you do every day? What's changed, what's different, if anything, what's?
To my
similar?
knowledge, I don't think anything is
I
different.
couldn't, right,
We
it's-
just hand this right off to the county and they'll set up their central voting stations and manage it for us.
Okay.
So-
It seems similar to me, but I just wanted to know what your take
Yeah,
was on.
As I recall, because I remember sitting through this,
Mhm.
it was kind of one of these, I'll say, an unfunded mandate from the state that you will do early voting.
Right.
Congratulations. The county really, in this case, I think, has stepped up and given us a way to do it. I think we'd be hard pressed to provide early voting in all of these venues for all the time mandated for the fee that they've given.
yeah,
So this works well for us.
yeah.
With
And
that-
we'll remember too, that the early voting, there's a lot of times, there's a lot of absentee ballots coming in. We're also prepping. It's 9 days prior to the election, so we're writing heavy election process, prepping process to actually be here on election
Oh,
day.
I'm in full favor of it. I just was wondering if anything had drastically shifted or changed. Yeah, that's all.
Any other discussion or questions? Since we're spending money, roll call?
Okay, Hauser, yes. Kay Peters,
Yes.
A. Peters,
Yes.
Sperling,
Yes.
Starkey,
Yes.
thank you. The last item I'd like to cover in this section is the volunteer application form. This form has been in place since, I believe, like 2004, and hasn't been updated to my knowledge. So what I did was I reformatted it some, but also what I created was a PDF form. So this is something that we can put out on the website, and somebody can fill it out on the website and save it and download it. This is a draft. It's, if you look at the form that's up there, the only thing a little bit different was they ask you to list 1 and 2 under the boards, commissions, and I added advisory committees because those were not listed before. It was just boards and commissions. And rather than have people try to figure out which ones they are, I just provided a list of all the ones that are active. And if they're interested, we could get in contact with them.
But this is fillable, I think it'll be a huge step forward, so thank you.
Yeah, and we want to get it visible too, more visibility on this, so people have a way to understand how we can volunteer.
Thank you. I have not heard anything from our board of review. I would remind us that we will have a December meeting. Very likely, we will be changing its time to 5 PM. Just so I have a chance to be in two places at one time, with at least a time to commute between locations. Roger, do we have a fire chief report, please?
Yes, fire department, we had, for September, we had 17 calls. We had one fire alarm at the school, used to be the school. One PDA, one mutual aid, one investigation, one fire. We did have one lift assist, 2 trees down, 9 medical calls. New truck, I know these pictures up there, but that's kind of what it's gonna look like. We're working on it, hopefully the end of the month. We should have the white bar and the back end slide up, should all have lights on it. So we'll have that, hopefully. We did do the hose testing for the month. We had 3 hoses, 6-inch hose that failed. The people that done it was waterways. Some of our firefighters did go over to Station 2 Saturday and power wash the station on that. We've got several people that's actually doing a great job for the department. We've got the truck coming. Hopefully we get it here at the end of the month. So we can get stuff put in that one. Also, Kim and I did talk about doing some extra cash someplace. If you do it, you need to do it now, because what's gonna happen, the air packs are going up in price. If you guys decide. Charlie knows the guy, and he can give him a call and know, hey, we're interested, let's do this. Because we don't, it's gonna cost you even more. I don't know what the price, Charlie is.
I mentioned to Kim and Kathy, actually, when I was up paying my summer taxes. Actually, they were slated to go up this month, because we got our quote back in August, if you recall. And I do know that, he had mentioned in October they're going up. So I don't know exactly when. He did cut us what I think is a very good deal, because, it's not a sales route, it's his boss, he runs the whole state, happens to be a friend of mine, we work together. And, so he gave us a phenomenal deal on the price of the packs, but he did say that they are going up in October, and this was back in August, so I don't know if they are or not, I don't know what y'all's plans are, but I'm not gonna continue to keep calling him until a decision is made. Last I knew is that we were applying for a grant. That could be next year, so I'm not gonna waste his time nor mine, quite frankly. Because you don't wanna keep cashing in favors, get it?
Oh, right, exactly.
So, if y'all
I think at
decide,
this point, the best thing for us to do is we'll caucus here a little bit, talk about that. As I understand it, every one of your packs is compliant at this point in time.
no,
No, you've not passed, they're not certified? I thought you told me they were, Roger.
They're certified, but the problem.
We're
is-
not-
No,
can I answer this?
but
or I'm sorry, yes, you.
the problem is that the packs that you have right now, they're outdated. They'll be.
They're not in FBA
Not
compliant.
in a compliance. I asked you before, Kim, to check that out. They've changed that so much. And I says, they've got to do something different here. Sooner or later, someone's gonna get hurt, and you know that as well as I do. I don't wanna see anybody get hurt under my department. I don't wanna see anybody get hurt in any department. We need to work on something to get this thing through. Because sooner or later, it's gonna cost you, instead of $178,000, it's gonna cost you $200,000 or more. It's crazy. The price of equipment today, all over, the trucks, the air packs, the gear. I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Every time they anything for the state of Michigan, for the state, for anything for the fire service, it's outrageous. If we don't keep up with what we're doing, in the future here, we're not gonna have anything. The fire department is gonna fold up. Because we can't afford to keep doing it.
So you're saying that that the air packs we currently have are no longer viable for our guys and girls?
I'm saying that the NFPA standard says you shall not be past more than 2 NFPA standards, meaning 2 revisions. The revisions are every 5 to 6 years, depending on when NIOSH does the certification. For example, this year, there should have been a new NFPA standard revision. However, NIOSH, who is the governmental entity that approves them, is running behind. So it will be probably March of next year before the standard comes, okay? With that said, so if you generally take it at 5 to 6 years per standard, you're looking at the life expectancy of a self-contained breathing apparatus to be 12 years, okay? Like everything else in the fire department that we own, we are way behind. Our SCBA's, to answer your question without you asking me directly, I didn't want to be rude then, is yes, they were tested. They are functional packs as of right this very second. However, they do not meet the standards and we can no longer service or maintain them. So if we have a failure, which is likely or potential, I should say likely, but the potential for a failure, then not only is he and him going to be in court, but so are you and every resident of this community. But like I said, everything in the fire service, everything that we have, you guys didn't create this problem. I get it. But understand the SCBA's we're using today are of the 1996 revision standard.
I would, Roger, I'd ask you and your team to come back and give us a list of equipment that is expired.
Yeah.
Or due to expire. And I'd like that by next month.
How about everything we have, just about?
Then I need a list of it, please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
So we'll get you on the schedule and we'll get things, but
How much money's in the fire department account?
I think there's what, 80,000, something like that? I'm gonna calculate that.
Mr. Supervisor, if I could add one thing, sir.
No, there's
Mhm.
got to say
The downside to us getting new SCBA's
82.
is we are fortunate here, we have a breathing air compressor to fill our units. I don't know if y'all are aware,
Mhm.
that breathing air compressor goes up to 4,500 PSI. Our SCBA's go to 2216. The new ones will go to 4,500, which makes our compressor, unfortunately, not able to use our cascade system to fill our own air bottles.
Okay.
So now we run into this dilemma of what do we do with our current compressor that we bought 25 years back in 96, probably for 20 grand, that now costs $100,000.
Mhm.
So there is, and I'm just trying to give you a little heads up, a little
Well,
foresight.
what I'm asking for is that list, and it ought to include everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when we had talked about this earlier in the year, I was told that the devices were safe, were certified, and that we could no longer get spare parts.
Yes.
And so that's different than what I'm being told tonight. What I'm being told tonight is we are now running outside the law in that we have a failure that is now our liability if we have not acted on it.
We in the fire industry,
No, I don't want to hear about fire industry. I want to hear about the Edenville Fire Department.
We've got so much stuff that's been taken out.
Somebody's TV.
Yes,
Go ahead.
No, with like I said, all the equipment that we've got, you got a 2090, was it 1993?
So Roger, how about next Monday, you and I sit down, and we get that list. And I will circulate that to the board. And we'll have to put together some sort of a prioritized capital plan.
Well,
Okay.
and
I'm sorry,
possibly prioritize
Right.
what on that list is most important. I would not know that.
and I think we
But-
need the list also, because if this funding comes, with a new budget coming in and an announcement that there's $8 million being
Yes.
released for fire, of which half of that's gonna go to volunteer
Yes,
type fire departments, I want us to be able to respond to that, because I have a funny feeling it's gonna come out and probably close quickly, because they're gonna.
Like the same week.
this.
Well,
this
I'm not,
money-
probably
Maybe the
a
same
couple
day.
of weeks, hopefully not the same day, but a couple of weeks, so we need to be able to capitalize that. Also, with the federal government shut down, I was quoted today from the individual we were working with on the American Firefighters Grant, that we're looking at, for every day they're down on a 1.5 week delay in
Sure.
Is that
When,
federal grant?
federal
Yeah, that's a
funding.
FEMA grant.
Yeah.
I'm torn here. I'm fully supportive of all the grant work, and we've written some grants, and none of which that we were able to get funding for. We're waiting for the AFG grant to work with first responder grants. All fine and good, and hopefully we can still go after that, but it sounds to me
But
like
we've got,
we have to move.
I agree
I'll get a
wholeheartedly.
report to this group by the end of next week.
And I would just like to say that I wouldn't wanna see us bleed, I mean, what we're talking just for SCBA gear alone, and there's other
Yeah.
things it sounds like too,
Right.
would bleed our fire department
Oh, yeah.
accounts. I would like
Yeah.
to see that come out of the general fund savings if we had to, wherever that needs to come from, these are people's lives, like, I mean, this isn't,
It's vital.
And the nice,
or
the thing
something.
is too, is we're getting ready to go through the winter tax season as well. So
Right.
if we have roughly 90,000 now, maybe by the time we hit January-ish, February-ish, there will be some more money
end of
there to
January.
work with.
Art, I think you already touched on it, the list is more important than anything right now, we need that, what is obsolete, what needs to be replaced now,
Yes.
you can go from there.
I just don't want
I'll
us
sit down and
to-
I'll work with Roger.
You know,
Is Monday good,
we have the
Roger?
money right down there,
I agree with you, that's
we
what I'm
have the
saying.
money, we can
I just
make a
don't
lot
want
of
us
that
to keep-
happen right now.
Yeah.
There's no way, because I got 2 appointments.
Okay, I mean, if there's another day, let me know.
I just
I'll work with you.
I just don't want us to punt it back to them, right? They're coming to us, they're saying, this is an urgent need, it's our job to.
Well, we have to fund, they have to tell us what and how much.
82.
Capital.
Capital with
Understood, I would like to see some of that coming out of our general. I don't think we should wait, it sounds like come March, they will be expired,
bring that in.
that's too late.
Maybe.
If we pulled everything.
So, guys, order,
Okay.
we've got some work to do. We'll come back with that. We understand that there are dollars potentially. The
Yes.
most important thing is to see what is needed and when, and then do a list. I mean, you guys, we didn't get here overnight,
Right.
and we're not throwing rocks at anybody, but we will, okay?
We'll do this.
That's fine, can I just hear what you were gonna say, what were you folks gonna say?
We were just looking at at all the balances right now, and we could probably scrape together enough, just barely, I mean.
150,000,
Yeah,
and that's fire. So.
Yeah.
I just
we
don't
can
wanna
move.
see us bleed,
We
you
can
know,
do
right
it.
for something that was probably long overdue.
We'll look at these things right there.
I agree with you.
Yeah, we look at those.
That's, I would like to look at our investments there and.
Yeah.
And for that list from the fire department, add all the components that you need. If you need a compressor for the air packs, or I don't know, I don't know.
That's why I'm sitting
But
down with them and we're gonna get the
all the
list.
components that you need to run your equipment.
Got it.
So we'll see this on November's,
We'll see it before then.
We might, yeah.
maybe have a special meeting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We all love those.
Yeah, yeah.
They're my favorite.
We're done with fire?
Anything else, chief?
No.
Okay. I have no input from the museum.
One quick thing, we
Yes.
did not adopt this form, we talked about it but there is a board adoption approved.
That's from the old form.
Yeah, the old form,
I
the
didn't know
new
since
form.
we didn't substantively change anything from the
She
old
just
form.
updated it.
Just update, but you did add some things, you did change the form, well, let's adopt the new form.
Okay.
I move that we adopt it.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed, same sign? We have,
Okay, just to have it in order. Nothing from museum, you said? Nothing from museum, you said?
no, nothing from your museum.
Up to Mr. Eagle.
Greg, you've been terribly busy this past month. I've spent a lot of time with you as well. Would you care to give us a little update on where we are?
As far as new complaints, it's been a slow month, managing 9 open complaints. I've closed a few where landowners have come into compliance. Not perfectly, but close enough. The Berthium Home site on Lake Sanford Road has probably been the most time consumer. To the credit of our attorney, he and I, we've spent a lot of time putting exhibits and information together for a formal hearing that was scheduled in August and then adjourned because Mr. Berthium said he wasn't properly served. Basically his fault, but the judge was very forgiving and adjourned it for a month. We were prepared at the last hearing to enter evidence to update the older order with a new one. Judge Carpenter kind of took the bull by the horns and a few questions to Mr. Berthium, and he pretty much concluded he's dealt with Mr. Berthium before. Other cases as well as the Eagle Township cases, and he basically concluded that Berthium was not gonna do anything. And that he served time for the, even no violations in the past in the jail. So jail time doesn't work. So he basically just decided he wasn't gonna take any of that evidence. I'm sure there's gonna be a big bill from the township attorney, but he had to do what he had to do. And we were prepared to go that day, but he basically, the judge basically said, told the township, I'll accept an order, you prepare an order to order it cleaned up in the township paperwork. Get it done. And he told Mr. Berthium that if you got anything that you want to move off there before they do it. But as soon as we're prepared to move, we can clean up everything.
And
Put it on his taxes.
and put the bill on his taxes,
Yeah.
as well as the last cleanup will be put on his taxes.
And the attorney charge too.
Yes.
And so I went over there today you're preparing, you mentioned you're preparing a bid. Before the last bid, I made kind of a rough inventory of what was on there to be able to give to bidders. Cause they just can't go waltzing around on the property. They won't want to anyway. But I'll get that together in the next day or two so that, so if you get any calls, well, we gotta clean up, it'll be a rough list.
It's posted. We hope to have responses by end of next week, and by Friday we'll award. And then we'll schedule a mutually agreeable time to go in and do the cleanup. And I mean, I think the judge was extremely candid. He wants it clean. And we're setting an example here, and we will keep that clean if there's any non-compliance going forward.
And from,
It was there, and we'll make it happen.
we've been patient with the landowner, and somebody from the outside might take the other picture that we're being awful hard on, but we've given them a lot of time to clean up, and he's actually brought more in.
Correct.
We gotta remember that stuff that's there now, a lot of it wasn't there when we cleaned up.
Well, it was all cleaned up last fall.
Yeah, and the judge made a point, pointing out to Mr. Berthium, he owns 2 other properties that he could put up for sale to raise funds to have this cleaned up at his expense, and he just has chosen not to do that.
Well, and in fact, I think it came out that the folks up in Gladwin County got tough with him, and so he had to clean that all up, and most of that came down here. And I think they ended up saying they were gonna foreclose on that one, because he chose not to pay.
They actually held an auction and it had kind of a net zero on the cost of that seizure. But since that time, his house burned and the township had to pay to have the house raised. So they've had to put an assessment on that parcel and buy it, so. One last thing, well, a couple things. Been working with Kim to get my records and day-to-day activity files, Excel spreadsheets, complaint files up on a cloud server, so it's not just on my computer, it's officially somewhere, and anybody in the township can look at it. And lastly, I don't know if you want to talk to our meeting with zoning administration and ordinance enforcement coordination, but basically, anything surrounding a building permit or a Z-Clubs associated that will be handled by the zoning administrator. Anything behavioral, more nuisance related, even though it's in the zoning and ordinance, I'll handle. But I think the supervisor is gonna look at any blight ordinance possibilities. And I think you're also gonna work on updating the Z-Clubs form to be a little more informative to the applicants.
I think there are a couple things that came out of that conversation. By the way, I think what you and the zoning administrator were great to sit down and indulge me with the conversation. We realized that the whole term of Z-Club being a permit is a bit misleading, and so we're probably gonna come forth with a recommendation to rename that whole process. Some folks would make an argument that they didn't need a building permit if they went through the Z-Club process. We just wanna make that clear. Also, I think we wanna put together some sort of a diagram, letting folks know if you wanna do this, fill this form out, if you wanna do that, go try to make it very simple and straightforward. I think the other thing that came out of that is we've got some work we want to do and look at probably in the springtime on helping clean up some of our blight wording, just to make it a little easier to manage. So I would have to tip my hat and say, Greg, you're just doing an amazing job with folks getting it through this. And I personally want to thank you, as you do this, and handle it very humanely.
One last thing on the building permits, there was some discussion and we didn't really have a solution. We identified some examples. And I think Jim brought something to me today about some construction slipping through and deep occupancy taking place without permit. And we also talked about permits issued and expired, and then we have a half-built structure that's going nowhere. And do we deal with that? I don't have an answer, but it's something the board needs to ponder on this uncompleted construction.
If they don't ask for an extension during 180 days, then they must ask for an extension. Because, the financial problem, they can come to the court authority and there'd be an extension automatically done for them. But if there's any, if you just go past 180 days and you don't do anything, you start building 3 years later, you need a new building permit.
In the meantime, some of the neighbors are complaining about these uncompleted structures, unoccupied, uncompleted structures.
Tell them if they're complaining to you, tell them to call the code authority, this is not been rebuilt, let them know, so we can get their inspector out there to take a look. Because if they stopped building a year, let's say a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that building permit is no longer valid. They must submit a new permit. So that's 180 days or way elapsed. Yeah. Okay, we'll coordinate that one too.
Received nothing from the zoning administrator, and I understand we've got some things making their way toward the zoning board of appeals, but I'm unaware of anything that is called yet.
Well, the one I looked at, and this is kind of funny, when I went out there to look at the piece of property that we're talking about on over on Island Drive, there's two big sheds out front of the house. That's not permissible either, you know, the first thing I looked at, you allow one shed, not two outbuildings. In a zone, in a residential area, you know? So I didn't know if they're coming back for a, you have not heard anymore? Okay, so that'll be after we got that.
All right, could I add one thing I meant to bring up?
Yes, sir.
It's related to the earlier discussion. You and I had talked to the probation officer there, and you were talking about maintenance at the cemetery and a few other things. The probation officer pointed out to us that they have people that have to do community service hours that are looking for work and sometimes not finding it.
Oh,
It's-
Okay,
Remember, that's for free labor.
okay.
Hmm.
Good to know, thank you.
Appreciate it, thanks. Okay, we're now at old business, a grant update.
You kind
I
of gave
think
it
we gave it
already.
Okay.
Because the government shutdown is delaying.
Yeah, and then we, hopefully the state will come through. Yeah, that release.
And then we had a quick revisit. I know we had talked about a concern raised and some help requested by the
Planning.
planning commission to help us with what they perceived as some feedback from residents that there might be folks using the blight or zoning issues as some sort of a abusive fashion. In speaking with both the ordinance enforcement and zoning administrator, I'm not certain we have anything that's out of hand. Indicated to me that they had a handle on things and were working it. I think we've talked about that if this does continue, we might want to put something a little more permanent in place, but at this time, I think giving them the latitude is perhaps fine if folks are okay with that. I'm seeing some head nods.
I think it's just important to note for you and the zoning administrator that if it becomes something that's excessive and unfounded and that becomes an issue, let us know it's on our radar. We could create a policy, but if it's just sort of one-offs here and there or anecdotal experiences, then we don't have to create a policy for that. But it shouldn't be something that is used as retaliatory or in a vengeful way, or I don't know, whatever. That's not the purpose. And
I had one situation I thought was excessive. I actually sent sort of a letter of reprimand to the complainant on how much it this cost the township is extra.
fantastic. And then if you
But that was
needed
just
more
one time.
teeth, if you needed more teeth, we could support you in that. So we just need to know from you. So I'll report back to the planning, our meeting is Monday.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll report back.
It's timely.
Yes, I'll report back that at this time, we're not going to create a policy, but we'll wait to hear if it becomes an issue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Moving on to new business. Crystal, you've done some great work in fostering a partnership with Delta. We see the fruits of that out there in the beautiful pavilion that folks did. I think you somehow finagled away with the staff and faculty to help us get kind of I'll say a commemorative plaque, but it's very modest and simple on that, and I just support that, and thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully, from what I understand, it will be student created. It's like their first level class, so it will be a modest plaque, but they're hoping to design it to be mounted on one of the posts on the inside.
Yeah.
To help prevent like erosion and such, so I'm not sure when that will be completed. We just need to submit language
Oh,
to Delta for it, so maybe I could work with you, Kim, about how we exactly want to word that. And have that sent in and hopefully within the next month or so.
And then we talked about maybe allocating up to $100, they need anything to mount it.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that part of it yet, so we'll have to, I would appreciate that, just in case there are,
Right.
but from what my understanding is it would be next to no cost. For us, but I would appreciate the $100 in case there is something.
Instead of 50 cents.
50 cents. I don't know what you can buy now for 50, you can't even buy gum for 50 cents anymore.
Motorway, it's up to $100.
Yeah, up to, see what that would.
Jim, are you seconding that?
Did you make a motion?
Yeah, sure,
There, yes, a second.
okay.
Any other conversation? Let's do a roll call vote because we're spending
Yeah,
some money.
money.
All right, Starkey,
Yes,
Spurling.
Yes,
A. Peters,
Yes,
K. Peters.
Yes.
Hauser, yes, thank you.
and again, I think that's great that we built that relationship and
yeah.
let's see where we go with
I
that.
like that the
it's
students.
got a little bit of an insight, maybe, you know, that's a little bit of insight working with some folks over there.
Well, we'll take any inside track we can get. Kim, you hit me with this and reminded me that we're very close to the end of fall and snow flying. And with snow, we're gonna need a contract with the Midland County Road Commission for plowing some of our private roads.
Yes. I received a letter from the Midland County Road Commission for 4 private roads, Campbell Court, Enchanted Forest and Lake Forest, Wixom Beach Gore, and Lakeview subdivision, and Ginger Drive. These are contracts that we need to sign, the whole board will need to sign these, so before you guys leave tonight, I wanna get everybody's signature on this if we approve it. Each amount is listed on the contract, but in total, it's about $2,000.
It's paid for all those, their
Yes,
special
that's
assessments.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And Fox Road is not, the Fox Road Woodland is not on it because it is different, apparently, the county will not cover it, so we have to hire
They
someone
do their
special.
own, because they got too many.
There's too many steering
It's the
arrows.
south end
Because
of
the
Fox.
setbacks,
Yeah.
that's where we go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right,
so
it's
we
the
have,
trees.
so we have
The trees are
a,
close to the road.
so, I'd like to make a motion, that we approve the MCRC plowing for private roads.
And I will second that.
Thank you. Since again, we're spending money, roll call to vote, Hauser, yes, K. Peters,
Yes.
A. Peters.
Yep.
Sperling,
Yes,
Starkey,
Yes,
thank you.
And actually, even though it is spending money, it's not
moving money.
It's
It's
not the
not
township money, it's the
It's
private.
the-
Their
right,
money. You're
we will
spending
be
their money.
collecting
we
and then
collected and then
spending.
we
But-
spent.
Kim, you've got an idea to how we can streamline our vendor payments.
Yes, we have had ongoing issues with payments and we've been working really hard. We appreciate what was passed last meeting with the late payments. Now we gotta figure out how to make sure that our payments that we take care of on time actually get to our vendors on time. We're experiencing 8-9 days after we have put them in the mail here, getting them there. As of with this month, 8-9 days is gonna put us after some due dates. I'd really like to have my Republic bill, or our Republic bill, come in at the right amount and not me constantly checking to make sure it's posted. So what I have put together is a ACH payment policy. It's basically saying that we will use ACH, AFT transfers to pay our vendors. We'll be going through their portals. We're doing this to reduce our costs, postage envelopes, and ensure timely delivery of our vendor payments. The rest of it's described in the policy. We have attached, there will be a warrant cover sheet that we will be using, and that I believe was not shared, but I should have copies right here. Thank you. There you go. And then- So that's what we're doing. We're also, there's a flow chart that we've designed to kind of lay out how we want our flows to work. Purple being the clerk at doing certain things, orange being the treasurer. So this will help us kind of keep our flows in mind.
And internal controls.
Yes, and internal controls. So I think those are important things. Yes, Crystal?
It's just a question, I'm in favor of this and I can understand the challenges that you're facing, only from remotely where I sit over here, but I don't know if this is the place for it and maybe it's not, but if these are paid, electronically ACH, where in this do the trustees review?
That would actually, so what we would be doing is we'd be teeing it up like we did this time. So let's take our consumer payments.
Mhm.
Okay, we would set those, you would review them, but we would have this ACH warrant sheet on them, that we were gonna pay those ACH.
Those are just going to different.
Right, rather
I see.
than, it'd be kind of similar to what we're doing
Okay.
with credit cards.
Makes sense.
How many have portals set up, and all our major companies?
All of our major companies, plus some of the smaller ones, specifically a smaller one is TDS, which is the telephone company that does the fire department, and we are traditionally late on that. Regardless of how fast we can move it, we are traditionally late on it, so it'd be nice to be able to use it. But we're trying to, we're also going to make, like, our Republic bill, the payment is due the 20th. So we're gonna get that electronically submitted tonight, if it's approved. If
And
it's
it's
approved.
like you did tonight, if you have a special bill that's gotta come in, it's gotta go out, let Crystal and I know.
Right,
When we
exactly.
swing by the office, we can look at it and kind of go and be ready with
Yeah,
it.
so we're getting a better control on these things. Things are coming in better. We were off one day on 2 electric bills, hitting the posting date. But we just figured with this way, plus it will also, yet again, something else I learned at the MTA meeting. A lot of places are really pushing to start using this. It's safer than sending paper checks.
Yes.
And it also, we know when it happens and we can
We
control
get
it.
confirmation when it happens.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In the mail, you don't.
We have to wait until we get notified by them
Yes.
or see that it has actually posted in the account. So.
That's a
So
Motion,
I'd like to make a motion to authorize our vendor payments via ACH EFT policy.
support.
Do I have a second?
Jim did.
Jim, thank you, Jim. Do we need a roll call?
Yeah, we brought it up.
Okay,
Mhm.
Crystal, we're gonna start with you. Starkey,
Yes.
Sperling,
Yes,
A. Peters,
Yes.
Hauser, yes. K. Peters?
Yes.
Thank you. And one more?
Yeah.
All right. So, it is audit time again. We had we had our audit prep meeting with Daniel Hoop from AHP. Very helpful. We're looking forward to working with her.
Yes.
Got a lot of good information to get to her and pull together. One of the things too is part of trying to help us better integrate and report is looking at a new version of QuickBooks. It's called QuickBooks Enterprise. It's actually not brand new. But one of the things is we're looking at potentially our current Desktop Pro version being sunsetted. They're starting to really push the online. I think for what we do, online is not gonna work, so enterprise would be the best next thing. The payroll module that we usually pay extra for is actually built into this one. It does cost about $1,300 more. In fact, it's about $3,800 a year, roughly for the license for that as opposed to 25. One of the things that I am investigating is the potential of direct deposit for payroll and the cost of that, and if there is additional cost per payroll transaction, to see if that's something for us feasible moving toward. That will reduce uncashed checks, even if they're for small amounts, and chasing people down after 2 or 3 years to try to get them paid. So these are things, also something else, again, many people spoke highly at the township meetings, clerks that I talked to, they said this has helped them a lot on making sure those deposits are hitting, people getting them, and not having to worry about uncashed checks floating around.
In the general ledger.
Yeah, and so, yeah, but so I would like to to go ahead and we have currently purchased QuickBooks, the current QuickBooks for desktop. For a year, when we cease using it, they will refund us the money. My hope is to sunset that by the end of this month and have this purchase made where we will start migrating the companies, our existing files over is no problem. So we should see no interruption in service. But the hope is that we'll be reworking those accounts and bringing them closer in line with the Michigan uniform chart of accounts, so that it'll become easier for us to track and work and develop and report back with those kind of account numbers.
Do they offer support?
They do offer some support, yes, but
Free?
one of the things, since their business isn't typically is not focused on governmental entities, they don't have a lot of support for that, but I'm hoping I can lobby maybe a little bit with them and see if they're interested, because I know in this current environment, a lot of townships are looking for a lower cost solution for their financial accounting.
Are we still considering BSNA long-term, or is that something that we're not?
I think that is from what I'm hearing also, is BSNA is becoming quite expensive. By my estimate, we would need a minimum of 3 modules to operate BSNA. And I know at one time, I think those modules, Cassie, would cost out at like $3,000 or $4,000 per module.
$8,000 per module for implementation.
And then
That's times 3. And then after those 3 modules are implemented, and that would be cloud, not server-based like we're on now. And then it would be about $8,000 per month. Or not, per year.
8,000.
Per year.
Excuse me, per year.
Everybody's going to a subscription-based pricing, and it's not like the old days when you paid.
Well, that actually is the old days.
It is the old days,
That's how
yeah.
they used to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we're circling back then.
The other
Full circle.
thing about
It's old as
BSNA that I learned at the treasurer's retreat was that they're no longer offering the free 2-week training, BSNA, for the new modules that are purchased. The support is really gone down since they went public with the company. And so I'm glad we held back and have the advisement of the county equalization office, who I've been in touch with a lot. He has sight on not just Midland County, but other counties, and sees, hey, hold off if you can. Even county treasurer office is still on .net. BSNA, that's what I have, so take our time.
You mentioned 2 figures, $1,300 for the license and $3,800 a year. What was that in reference to?
Oh, what it is, so right now, we will take what we paid for this year's license and add to it to get the new, so that's basically the additional $1,300 is what would bring us up to the new
The new.
new
Okay,
one.
Okay,
So above, we paid roughly $2,500 for the old one, 38 roughly
Okay,
for the new
that's
one.
okay, that clarifies, thank you. I know I had 2 figures, I'm wondering what those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so Kim, you've made that motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Yes, Kathy.
Jim, you're hard to beat.
We'll give it to Kat this time.
Okay. So we'll do a roll call, Kathy,
Yes.
Art,
Yes.
Kim, yes, Jim,
Yes,
and Crystal.
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, we've powered through a rather large agenda. I've got a couple of closing comments. First off, during the firefighters' picnic, it was pointed out that we have a very precarious power pole. I was able to follow up with consumers. I told them that it was a safety hazard. They said, okay, but since it's not sparking, don't expect anything. 2 days later, they actually had someone out there, took a look at it, and he said, oh my goodness, yes. So it's now on their priority pole replacement. Because it is still standing, it's not an overnight kind of thing, but he indicated hopefully by end of year that will get replaced. He did comment that at some point along the way, somebody may have cut one of the tensioning wires. And so just something we need to be mindful of on that. So that's number one, and so I just want to thank you guys for pointing that out. We don't know it's broke, it can't get fixed. The second thing is, we'll be having our third in our series of Coffee with the Council. I've checked with all of you, we'll be doing it October 25th in the morning, 9 a.m. The topic for us will be a discussion of Swanton Hall, where we're going. I've already had a great session with our facilities manager, who's walked me through some things that he sees that we should be considering. But I'd ask you all to think about what we want to do with Swanton, where we are going, and use that as kind of a game plan to talk about things.
Good.
Anything else?
Were you able to reach out to anybody about the lake funding that the state put through?
The late funding.
Well, the shooting bill that went through with
Yes.
the 9 points.
I don't know if we'll be able to get someone there or not for that one, but we will have them.
No, okay.
They will come and talk at some point.
Then stuff, I saw that.
And Jim is referring to, it looks like that, Bill Schutte was able to get us just under $10 million additional allocated to help with the dam recovery. So that's always a good thing.
Excellent.
So with that,
Can I say something before?
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I say something? If you guys actually notice the carpets, they've been cleaned, so there ain't no stains, so, so they, you know. And my wife says she'll take care of the,
Safe, sir.
safe service. Yeah. So,
I would just, Roger, thank you for pointing that out. This was amazing. I was over here to help the guys. Actually, I opened the doors. That was my level. I unlocked the doors and let them in. Guys, the water that came out of this place was black. It was embarrassing, but they did, and they did a great job. And so I just thank Roger for arranging that and for those guys. They did a super job. Any final words or comments? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.
Good job. 85.
you all have, I got.
Sign.
I did that during, you need me to sign something.
Yep.
Right here. And if you wanna sit down here.
Well-
Obviously, I talked to you. Yes, in case you wanted to.
Okay, and then that one, okay.
You
You know what I mean?
You'll